Hey there, YTPC. Yardism here. Little house flipping. Smoking this pipe with some of that in it. It's going to be a Q&A because I ran across a couple of questions that I had overlooked and I wanted to get to them. First one's an actual tobacco pipe smoking question. How about that? Probably the thing I'm least qualified to answer. This came from a viewer in China whose name I tried to translate and had no success, so forgive me for that. This question deals with pipe smoking and having feelings of abrasion on your palate and throat discomfort. Is this normal? Well, as far as the feelings of abrasion, I think that probably relates to tongue bite, and that relates typically to either smoking too fast or too hot. You get kind of a chemical burn kind of a sensation on your tongue. I can feel it sometimes on the roof of my mouth, the abrasive feeling you're talking about. I don't know if that's from my tongue or from the roof of my mouth, though. As far as throat discomfort, I'm assuming that you inhale your smoke because of that. I don't. And most pipe smokers, in my estimation, don't inhale the smoke either. So if you do, it may have something to do with that. You could look into that. Otherwise, I don't really know how to answer that one. If anybody else out there has any thoughts on that, either one of those questions, feel free to jump in. Question number 2 comes from Todd Blessing's wife. How about that? I gotta be serious about this one, I'll be in trouble. She says, if I could go back to the times of the drafting of the Declaration of Independence and discuss issues of today with the Founding Fathers, would I? Knowing that if things turned out differently, I may not have been born. And then she also asked, would I sacrifice being born for the betterment of the country? Those are some interesting questions. To the first part of that, would I go back and talk to the Founding Fathers in a heartbeat? Without doubt. If they could have benefited from the knowledge of foresight of somebody that's actually living in these times, I think things may have been done a little bit differently. At least I think they would have tried to prevent some of the things that have been done. Abuses of government power, let's call them. Because I think there are quite a few things that have gone on that they would just be abhorred by, just absolutely disgusted by. So there, I mean, for example, there have been 33 constitutional amendments proposed. 27 of them passed. Most of them within a year of being proposed. Only one has taken any serious amount of time. It took over 200 years for them to pass this constitutional amendment. And it's the most recent one, the 27th, which says Congress cannot give themselves a pay raise and have it take effect the same year. So basically, if they vote themselves a pay raise, it doesn't take effect until the next session starts. It took them 200 plus years to think that was a good idea. That's just a little glimpse into the way Congress thinks, I believe. There have been around 12,000 congressional amendments or constitutional amendments proposed. 12,000. About 200 per session. At least that's about the amount that occurs today. About 200 per session. Most of them never make it out of committee. So 12,000 times they sought to change the Constitution. 12,000 times. Seeing how that doesn't work so well, they decided to just pass laws to bypass it. They decided to relegate enough power to the courts to override it. They decided to create government agencies to completely bypass it. And they typically just ignore it. I think the founders there would probably be hundreds of treason cases against various members of Congress throughout the years based on stuff like that. They would say, this is not okay. This is not what we intended. We created this government to limit itself. We created this government and the Constitution to put limits on what the government can do and to provide rights for the people, not the other way around. So if I went back and told them all the stuff that was going on, or that has gone on, and it caused me not to exist, if it really truly changed the country into what it was intended to be, I wouldn't know any better, and I'd be fine with that. Now, would I give up having been born or sacrifice my life for the betterment of the country? That's another question. If I could be absolutely sure that it was very beneficial long term, I would highly consider it. But knowing the way things work, Congress would say, okay, this guy's going to give his life and we're going to make the country better. They take my life and they never do anything differently. That's the most likely outcome of something like that. In that instance, no, I wouldn't. I'd rather sit around and complain about stuff than give them one less person to worry about. Yeah, I would love to talk to those guys about some of the stuff that went on. Specifically, I mean, especially some of the stuff in the Supreme Court. They never envisioned the court having that much power. So there you have it. My hot take on that. To my viewer in China, I hope that helps in some way. To Mrs. Blessing, hope you enjoyed my answers. Keep Todd straight. Somebody has to. To the rest of you, send me more questions. Seem to be in a drought right now. So send me some more questions and I'll babble about it. Until next time, enjoy your pipe, whatever may be in it, and ignore the hype.